coming up where this week in lifestyle segment, we're going to talk about, are men really intimidated by women?
You know, before we even got that far, last week you said you made the statement about why there's so
Why
many.
we got to go in the past? But go ahead.
Because how can you know where you're going if you don't know where you've been?
Yeah, that is true. That is true.
Anyway,
Okay.
you made the statement something about why there's so many single professional black women.
Did I say that?
You
That's what
did.
caused this topic to
That's
come
what
up this
came
week.
up.
So,
And you know, my answer in my mind was
because they miles,
pretty
but go ahead.
simple.
Oh, what?
It's pretty simple. You get everybody. You're told all through middle school, high school that you should be prepping for college. You should be prepping for your career, et cetera, et cetera. You go to school to learn how to be a professional. There's no school that tells you how to deal with relationships. It's one of those trial and error type things. And it really got to be a problem, not because women became professionals, but because relationships became an industry. Does that make sense? When I say
if you got to ask if it makes sense,
well,
are you philosophizing?
I'm saying to you, does it make
Well,
sense?
it did
to
become
you?
an industry, almost like
became an
religion
industry.
became an industry. Everything is an industry. You talking about like a Steve Harvey, the dating sites and all that.
The sites, the help books, the how-to books, the advice columns. It all
Everybody,
became
YouTube channels and everything.
YouTube channels. It's like, why are you looking to
Well,
a particular person?
So
with
what does
their
that have to
limited
do
life
with the
view?
question? Let's see. Does that have anything to do with the question? Let's see. The question is, are men intimidated by successful women? Do you believe that to be true or not? I don't believe that to be true. I believe what happens sometimes is sometimes people become successful, men or a woman, and I'm not saying they get big-headed, but you get full of yourself sometimes when you're successful. That's just a normal process. And what happens with women, a lot of times they don't want to believe that they got egos, that they be ego tripping.
Oh, so you
because they hide behind words
so
like
you just want to do that rafter and splinter thing, you know, where you're trying to remove the splinter out of the women's eye and not looking at the raft in your own eye.
ooh, that's some good old country slang or whatever.
Is that
No,
what
what I'm trying to say is I'm not blaming the women. What I'm trying to say, I'm putting it to where it is a myth. And the reason why it's a myth is because a lot of times, let's say a woman, she might have standards, right?
Okay.
So a lot of times a woman, she might have standards,
Of course.
right? So if she's successful, then the standards are whatever. Like you'll never see a woman go into a restaurant that's a millionaire and come out of there with a husband. But there's been many millionaire men who done went into restaurants and liked that waitress, and all of a sudden they was married.
I like your girl V.
Yes, or whatever she is. So,
Ooh, that homely heifer.
but my point of it is, it's a stereotype because, and not all women believe it, not all men believe it, because it's not really that men are intimidated. But what happens is you feeling like this man is intimidated because I've been in a situation where a woman wants to speak her mind and say certain things about certain issues, and I have no problem with that. But it's certain issues that I don't even want to go into, and it's not just with a woman. It's with, I don't even want to hear my boys talk about that. And especially, like, if you a man and you insecure, let's just say a insecure man, because that's what happens. They was like, I hear women say, well, he's just insecure or whatever, right? And he's not, his life has no purpose. See, the reason why I'm not intimidated is because my life has a lot of purpose. I make sure I got a lot of purpose. But there are men who don't have purpose, right? Now, why you sitting over there like?
Cause I'm trying to be respectful and let you get your point.
No, don't.
across.
Lady, you're never respectful. So why are you trying to be respectful now?
I'm always respectful. I do unto others.
Well, the bottom line, it comes down to this: there's a black woman's mafia out there, and the godmother is Oprah, and she's put stuff in people's heads. And I'm just saying, I mean, you tell me how you see it.
Well, it sounds to me
Because
like,
it's hogwash.
It sounds to me like what you just described is the very definition of being intimidated by what you perceive to be an issue. I'm not saying that, say, a black man should be intimidated because his woman makes more money. Most folks, hey, if your mate makes what's mine is yours and what's yours is mine, right? So not yours, but you know what I'm saying.
Right.
In a in a relationship, so it shouldn't really be that way. I think it's way, believe it or not, bigger than Oprah. It's way bigger than Oprah. Think about if you go back to, say, the 50s and the 60s when all the black women on TV were maids or taking in housework. Nobody was concerned about being intimidated by a professional black woman.
They had different attitudes back then too, so don't forget that.
Right,
wasn't no woman doing that.
They might have been, but you didn't see it.
I don't think so. My grandma, my great aunties, they never came off. But my niece and nephews, my nieces, ooh.
Because they started seeing it on TV.
Hello.
And so they start copying it and emulating those things. And so you think, hey, well, shoot, I'd be scared of that. To me, that whole idea that men are intimidated by powerful women is like propaganda that destroys the community. Because then you have men, if the man isn't,
you're talking about in a black
community,
right?
Because if your man is intimidated by you being successful, then he's not much of a man to start with. Then if you have to feel like,
but what if he a man who like you working all the time, he just staying at home and doing nothing? Then he ain't much of a man either, huh?
But I'm saying the whole intimidation factor. It's like we were talking about Texas, and this policeman putting his knee in a 14-year-old girl's back, and what's the first question? What's the first response? Oh, he got short man syndrome. How can he possibly be intimidated by this woman? It makes him it emasculates him. So if you say that a black man is emasculated by his
well, of course
woman,
they did that demasculation of the black man, right?
Saying that this black man, why shouldn't he be intimidated?
Well, I think in general, men are intimidated. It's not really a successful thing. It's like if you see a nice looking woman, you can be intimidated. But what I'm saying is this. All this propaganda, like you said, it was an industry. What was all I've heard women say in every movie, every talk show, Oprah's, all these shows is women need to love themselves, right? And that is what's happening. It's not, I don't hear women on there talking about, we talked about this before, about how the family. It's all about the woman.
Because it's the industry that teaches it. If you got women who buy into it because they don't want to look
women
at
selfish now.
No. Well, I'm not going to say all women.
I'm not blaming women.
No,
here's what I mean.
Look, I'm not going to say that women aren't selfish because selfishness is a human quality. If you breathing, you selfish. There's nobody who can say that they are not concerned about themselves.
Here's my point. Everybody has been conditioned to be selfish, not just women, right? Everybody has been conditioned to be selfish. But more emphasis has been placed on the women because of experiences. As women always had to give up this. Women always had to do this. They always had to do extra, whatever, right? So what has happened to me, for example, I take a movie like The Housewives or The Ex-Wives. Remember The Ex-Wives where they were showing all these ex-women, and that's me, ex-women. All these ex-wives, and then all their husbands got younger women, whatever, right? Mm-hmm. So these little messages send little messages to a woman like, shouldn't give my all right now because I just don't know. And I always hear women saying, well, it's almost like
that's
the standard of showing you we okay has been lowered. It has been lowered. Before, it used to have belief in me. The standard for you to believe in me wasn't this thing. Now it's like I gotta like jump through hoops. I gotta climb, and then if I don't, something's wrong with me because it just wasn't meant to be. No, what I'm saying is they didn't put so many subliminal messages in women and men too. I don't trust you either as a woman. You see what I'm saying? Because I'm listening to hip hop telling me that you skanky hoe and all that. That stuff. That's the whole point.
And they gets in your head. But that's because if somebody's making bad choices, how can you say that that's the woman's fault? How can you say that?
Who's making bad choices?
If a man is
who's making bad choices?
If a man is always around women who, because not all women are like what you just described.
What I described?
Wait, you described. Oh well, he might be doing this. I mean, everybody's gonna have a certain level.
Women got their guards up, man. They got their guards up.
Everybody got to have a certain. You can't be stupid because that's the nature of life. People find somebody fuckable and then they fuck them.
Women got their guards up so high.
People, that's what people do. They find somebody fuckable and then they fuck them. That's just it. So if you
does that make it right?
You can't walk out.
Do that make it right?
Expect that everybody is got your best interest in mind.
Well, let me ask you this.
That's why you're looking for a particular person to be with. And that's where people are so mixed up. Like, people have this idea, or they glorify this idea that, oh, I'm so beautiful, I'm so wonderful, everybody wants me, and that's what's great. No, I don't need everybody to want me. I just need this one person to want me.
Well, you just maybe just learned that.
But look, but I'm saying, so the fact that a person goes out and they have experience with somebody who's got their guard up. Okay, if you can't get that guard down, you stop. Okay, look, you go to this next person. Instead of letting them know that you for real, it's like if you don't know how to pick a cantaloupe, because that's a hard fruit. You don't know what's a good cantaloupe and what's a not bad cantaloupe, and you get home and every time you cut it open, it's rotten. You can't say, oh, cantaloupes just don't have any value. You don't know how to pick them.
That's how I look at women. Women, you just picking the wrong man. That's my whole point.
Then what is your point?
Here's my point. If we, especially as black people, if we go to the movies, other than a thug movie or a gangster movie, what movie ain't catered to the black woman? It's not though. It's not catered to a black woman. Hello, do you want me to go down the list?
It's not catered. What I'm saying.
Think like a man.
What you saying?
Think like a man.
When you go down.
What's love got to do with it?
Those are not catered to black women. And I'm gonna tell you why. Because
oh my goodness,
it's not catered to. It may look on the surface like, oh well, women.
What's love got to do with it? Ain't catered to a woman.
No.
Color Purple ain't catered to a woman.
And I'm going to tell you why.
Oh, my goodness.
And I'm going to tell you why. Because does the woman benefit from those roles? It might be.
Yes, you know why they benefit? I'm going to tell you why.
What you think you want to hear because it doesn't.
You know why it benefit women?
Fault,
you know why?
But it's not a benefit.
You know why it benefit? Because here's what I've learned about dealing with women. And you go through it too, because we was talking about it last week. It's an emotional connection. Like she might be going through that in her personal life, and when she sees someone else going through it, it gets her through the day to know she can relate to it. We just talked about that.
And that goes back
why
to
I ain't never seen nothing on TV to where I can go, I can relate to that. But I bet you have.
But that goes back to the industry because women will spend money on something that they can relate to.
Exactly. All these books.
So
most books is catered for women.
To the industry. But does it help them?
Not in the long run, but that instant gratification. We all conditioned to want instant gratification.
If it doesn't help them, it's not catered to them. It's catered to the people who make money off of it.
Now, I've never seen how men date or whatever, but I ain't never heard any of my boys are sitting there going, I need a woman that's equally yoked. I hear women always saying shit like that. I need someone that's equally yoked. I need this. I've never seen a woman talk about
just trying to get ass.
Okay, well maybe that's the truth.
Because I have heard,
but I have never seen.
I have heard men say, "I need a woman who not just understands me but overstands me. I need a woman who can support me and be there for me that we can see eye to eye. I need a woman who is gonna be." Is my support system.
Notice
and
that
blah blah blah.
Yeah, that's a whole different thing.
No, it's not. It's the exact same thing.
Well, in your mind, it's in your mind, it's the same thing, but it is different. See, one is based on trying to get support. The other one is based on trying to get support.
That sounds a whole lot like the same thing.
No, see, there's different types of support. Okay, one person is trying to get support in their goals support emotional support. The other one is trying to get support.
Which one is which? It's the same. It's the same thing.
Hello.
It's the exact same thing.
Where is this thing at? And here's another thing that gets me about you, the black women mafia and the underground. Okay. What about this thing called the sisterhood? Do you see brothers talking about? Brothers just started trying to talk about the brotherhood and trying to keep what they. Let me say this then.
How long folks been saying bros before hoes?
Just hip hop start that shit.
Bullshit.
Women been. What's that show with Oprah and all the women sitting on the stoop?
So basically, what you saying that we need is a show like The View, but it all has men on it, and they just throw their thing out there.
Women
too.
on TV talking all the time. I don't see one black. There's one black reality show that ain't hip hop oriented, and even the women end up dominating those shows. The women issues end up dominating those shows. Now
like
you don't want me to.
Hollywood.
Don't get me started. And that's the only show, Husbands of Hollywood, and even then,
and it's
the
meant
women
to be funny.
Yeah,
exactly.
It's not even a real. Exactly. And so what I'm saying is this. I'm not saying guys don't have that, some try to have that brotherhood, but what I'm saying is when a man is going through something and I don't even know that man, I don't sit here and go, oh. I literally know women who will that'll be watching a TV show and a woman to be cheating on, or a woman is sitting there, maybe she lost weight or something and she'll be crying or something. Women relate to that shit. I'll be sitting there going like, you don't know her.
So just because you don't understand an emotional connection, what does that have to do
That's
with being...
my point.
No, you
that.
don't understand people having an emotional connection. What does that have to do with intimidation? Because this is where I see it. This is where I see the whole intimidation factor. First, I don't think it's real. I don't think it's real either. I don't think that black men are intimidated by professional black women. I think they like it.
I don't think men. My point of view is I don't think men are intimidated, but I'm tired of hearing women use that term when a man don't want to be with them. That's when women use it. Like if a woman is successful and then a man break up with her, oh, he couldn't handle me. He was intimidated. That's what I'm talking about.
Okay.
Oh, I don't make it personal. Well, go ahead.
No, that sounded real personal.
I don't make it personal.
That sounded like
a make it personal,
PP.
y'all.
That was a PP. Okay, that sound like PP, personal problems right there. Now, first, I don't think that black men are intimidated by professional black women. I think they like that. Second, I think there are a number of professional black men out there. So what's the big deal? Third, why wouldn't you want your mate?
No, go keep going though.
Oh, okay. So why wouldn't you want your mate to express themselves and do what they're supposed to do? That just makes sense. I think the whole idea of intimidation, like the black man being intimidated, was something that it destroys the community because now you have interrupted what should be families building community. And I think it caters to people who don't want to look at themselves, because a lot of times people sit there and say, "Oh, I'm single and I'm happy," and you can very well be single and happy. There's nothing wrong with that. But too often people say, "Oh, if you're single, what's wrong with you?" Oh, there's nothing wrong with me. It must be them. And
that's my point. That's my point. That's where the whole word intimidation came from.
My point is that dynamic. Mm-hmm. Is being used by the media to make money and to destroy the black community. Exactly.
That's my point. I'm coming from maybe the same perspective. What I'm saying is the black women that's professionals has failed for the trick. That's what I'm saying. They've fallen for the trick because it's a trick. Because why would you use the word intimidation? And black women use that word.
Because it's been given to them.
By who? There
the
you
industry.
Go. There you go. That money-making industry.
Mm-hmm.
Just like when that dude came out with that book, Women Are From Mars. What'd he say?
Women are from Venus and men are from Mars.
Come on, man.
That actually kind of makes sense because then they meet on Earth.
Oh, shit.
No, you have to admit men and women are different. But if they weren't different, there would be no interest. There would be nothing interesting about this whole situation.
Exactly. We are different, and we could tell.
So
everybody's different.
my whole point is don't fall for it. If you single and happy, be single and happy. If you in a relationship and it's not working out, it's not cause he's intimidated by you. It's one of either he's the wrong person for you, or you an asshole, or he an asshole. Either way, just walk away and find the next one. It's like buses. I hate to say that, but men are like buses.
Well, for players.
Men are like, one goes, boom, and there's another one in 20 minutes or so. Right? It's gonna,
this food, huh? But that's the truth. Lose one, gain one. That's the man's motto. But the difference in us, we don't sit there. Well, I'll take that back. Real men don't do that. Real men don't sit there and blame the woman because he can't get a woman, right? But what has happened is there's so many single professional black women, the media, the power structure had to give them excuses. And it comes back to what you were saying, that system. And so what I'm saying is it don't exist. Stop saying this stuff. It's almost like when you heard, I went on a date years ago and I heard the first time I looked at a woman, I said, man, I can't deal with her. Because she was saying something like, well, all the black men are in prison. All the black men are down low. All the black men are with white women. All the black, you understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And so my point of view is she got that same philosophy. That same philosophy came from the same philosophy with being intimidation. Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
It comes from the same power structure that created the illusion that all the black women are starting businesses and doing such and such, and all the black men are in jail.
Exactly.
That's the same thing.
And that's why
if you want to fight it, like my thing is, we can go back and forth. It's just like the conversation on race in America. It's not really a conversation, it's an argument because people just listen to what they want to hear. If you're going to get anywhere, you got to be able to stop and say, dang, what did I do to get into that situation?
Well, that's true to a certain extent because them slaves didn't do nothing.
You know what? You know what? I'm going to tell you something else.
They were sitting in Africa chilling. They didn't do nothing. So if you're having a racial conversation and you being discriminated against, okay, because I've been discriminated against driving down the street. I didn't do nothing to that police other than driving a nice car.
You just made a hell of a point without even knowing it. That's exactly what's going on. It's like, all right, what was the biggest thing that slave owners did to slaves to keep them in a subservient way was selling their children away, splitting up families, killing that family arrangement. Now, that's all they doing is mental slavery.
Mentally.
Here,
emotionally.
Busting up the family arrangement, making people think that, being a single mom is normal.
We know that.
It's not.
We know that.
It's not. But I'm just saying, so when people are walking around saying, oh, well, she's acting like that. Oh, black women got attitudes. Oh, black men, he's just intimidated by me. Oh, I'm an independent woman. All you doing is you paying somebody to mentally enslave you.
Exactly.
Bam.
Exactly. No different than if there's a young rapper sitting out there calling women B's and H's. He's just playing the role like a damn fool.
Well, he doing it to
no
get
different.
Paid.
That's why I used to tell.
So it's still in the industry.
Exactly, and that's why I used to tell women, like, remember when women went through that phase where they was always trying to tell you they independent. Remember they went through that phase where they was divas and stuff. I said, you no different than that young dude calling himself a thug. Okay, because if you really a thug or you really a diva, you ain't got to tell me. That's something that's gonna show. That's the whole point. Talk is cheap. So you really independent, you ain't never even got to tell me. That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
Is that what you're saying?
So anyway, until next week, I thought we was going to get another topic out of that because usually I try to say, well, what can we talk about?
But you know what?
Who should make the most money? But we'll have something for next week.
We'll come up with something because it's always something in the love department.
All right. Peace. Until next week.
Be great, y'all.